Hello, everyone. Hope this finds you well today. Today, we're talking about forecasting, which is Listing Mirror's newest feature, just very recently launched, and we really wanted to fill you in on the details, show you a little bit about how it works, and then, of course, answer any questions that you have about the feature and how to use it. So, you are here with Matt and myself, and Matt's kitty on his lap that I'm sure you'll see her ears poking up a little bit here. So let's get started. Thanks so much for attending today and for answering the poll questions that you see here. And also, I just wanted to draw your attention to the in-depth understanding article that I just posted. That will have basically it's just going to be a written out article about the feature that we're talking about today. So if I can just get my slide deck working here, here we go. So here is our agenda for today. So we're just going to introduce ourselves. We are going to talk through how Listing Mirror defines forecasting. Who can benefit from forecasting? You know, what kind of seller does forecasting make sense for? And then, of course, Matt's going to run through a how-to of how to create a forecast in Listing Mirror, kind of talking through vendor catalog and the product catalogs, and then going all the way through the purchase order process, and then watching that inventory show up in your Listing Mirror account as inventory that people can buy from. So, and then of course the Q&A time at the end. Just a reminder, any questions that you have, even if it's while we're talking, please post them in the chat window inside of Demio, which you should see on your account. That's helpful just to generate some conversation, and feel free to answer each other's questions if you can, or of course we will get to them at the end. We'll try our best to make sure that we answer any questions that you have. So this is who you're working with today. So we've got Matt, who is our Senior Tech Support Specialist here at Listing Mirror. He is the one and only Senior Tech Support Specialist. So we're happy to have him today. And then also, of course, myself, Erin. I am co-founder and COO here at Listing Mirror. So let's just get started with, how does Listing Mirror define forecasting? The reason why I thought this would be an important thing to go through is just because, of course, you know, everyone has a little bit nuanced understanding of how, you know, what different things mean. So I just want to make sure that we're very clear on what this means inside of Listing Mirror. So forecast is defined by, you know, the product that you want to purchase in order to sell something in the future. And so, of course, it's nice to know how much you think you're going to be selling in the future for a specific product. So the algorithm that we use, we make this very visible to you, and you'll also see this in the article, but it's your daily sales, and that's going to be as if your product is in stock all month long. What is your daily sales volume by the stock coverage that you select? So whatever that time period is that you select, minus the in-stock quantity, minus the incoming quantity, and that is going to give you the forecasted amount that you should order in order to be prepared for your next amount of time, right? So for whom is forecasting beneficial? What kind of seller is going to most benefit from this? So we think of forecasting being most beneficial, obviously, for people who need to replenish the same products. So if you are a product owner, say you have developed your own towel or whatever the product is, something like that, where you're selling the same thing over and over, it's probably a good idea to know, how much do I need to order from my suppliers for the upcoming weeks, quarter, whatever that looks like for you. Then, of course, product resellers. So if you're reselling any particular brand or something like that, then that's a great type of user that could use the forecasting feature. This won't be as beneficial for someone who's selling used or refurbished goods, where you don't really control what's coming in. You just take what's there and you sell it to the best of your ability. If you're selling any sort of like returned goods, I know we have several sellers who sell pharmacy products and things like that are returned goods. And so, if you're in that bucket, probably not quite as helpful. And then obviously any sort of like one-off inventory sales, anything like that wouldn't be as useful for this tool. But for the top two and maybe others as well, this feature is going to be incredibly valuable if you're not already using it. So Matt's going to give us a quick demonstration on how to use the forecasting feature from beginning to end, and also, kind of just talking through a few details about other features that this interacts with. So take it away.
Thanks, Aaron. Hey, everybody. I shall show you how to do the stuff in the things. Let me share my screen. Yep. This one here. So while the webinar is focusing on forecasting, there are definitely a couple of features that are tied to forecasting and working congruently with them. You start with vendor, then forecast, then purchase order. So we'll start with the vendor. So a vendor is the person you buy your goods from. So say you have created a brand name of a towel line, and then you have a manufacturer that creates these towels for you. So you can send orders off to them, and they will ship you stuff to fulfill your orders. So we got to create a vendor first. So we go to inventory at the top and go to vendors. Let me make sure I'm zoomed in here. I tend to zoom out on my own. Here we go. Make that a little more visible. Is that better, Aaron?
Okay. Yeah, that looks good. I can see it well.
So we this is our demo account. We have a couple of random example of vendors, but I'll create a new one here. Create new vendor. In this case, I am saying that I am selling umbrellas. So let's make the display name of this vendor Umbrella Company. I have umbrellas, red and green ones, and I order them from this particular vendor. So we'll go over, so that's what you call it, the lead time. This is how long the vendor takes to, once they have created your product and they ship it out to you, how long it takes for you to receive it in your warehouse. Then you input their address here as well. Just put a bunch of random stuff in here. City we are based out of. Bye, Jack. And then create the vendor. Oh, here. I'll ignore the email for now, but you would want to enter that email because we will be using that email to email the vendor when you create a purchase order for it. So create a vendor. So you got this right here. So this is the name of the umbrella, name of the vendor, their address, and then the catalog items. So you can see currently there are 0 catalog items. So we need to add some, because what does this vendor hold for me? So I click on here, and it takes you to this page. You click on create new catalog items, and takes you to this page here. And this is a little drop down. As long as you start typing your SKU, bam, they will pop up and you'll see them. I have a green and a red, so I'll add my green. Start find my run.
So if you're already using Listing Mirror, then your SKUs that show up in that list where it says enter a SKU, that will just be what's already in your catalog, like what products you're already selling,
correct.
Right?
Yeah, like you will add existing products to your vendor. So if you haven't created those products yet in Listing Mirror, you want to create them, and then so you can add them to this vendor. Then along here, you can see additional information, MPN, UPC, ASIN, min, and case. So say, just for example, when I order this from the vendor, they have 10 in a case. So this kind of just tells me when I order, it's a minimum of 10, because they're going to send me a case in 10s, so I have to order at least 10. Add the items, because that's all I'm adding for this vendor. And bam. And the cost as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention. That's just the cost of you. So it cost myself $5 to order this from the vendor. All right, so bam. First step, vendor created. Fantastic. Now the next step, forecasting. So click on inventory at the top, and I go to forecasting, and it takes you to this page here, the main display, what we are discussing about in this webinar, all the fun stuff. There we go. I had to zoom out a sec. So I'll go over these fields real quick, and then we'll get down to the meat of it. So at the top, so we limit the forecast to 10,000 SKUs. It's just kind of limitation. So we start, so you can either sort them by the highest selling products, so you're looking at your highest sellers, or you can sort them by recently added, as in I want to look at the most recent things I've created in Listing Mirror. This on here, this is the sales data that Listing Mirror uses in the calculations. You can either base it on 30 days or base on the past 7 days. This next one, for enough stock to cover. So this goes over, for this forecast, how long do you want the quantity you're about to order to last you for? We have the options for 2 to 12 weeks. I'll be using 4 weeks in this example. And uplift here, is this a, oh, yes.
There was a question that came through from Michael, and he said he wants to know if there's data that goes back for 90 and 120 days or 180 days. Is that just based on like how long you've been using the software, or do you know how we
Right,
do
so you
previous
so
sales?
the orders do need to be in Listing Mirror. So if the orders don't exist in Listing Mirror, we're unable to use those for data calculations. So the orders definitely have to be in Listing Mirror. The sales history, I believe, by default is the past 180 days. No, I think it's just the 7 and 30. We'll pull in the past 180 days worth of
Yeah.
sales, but you'd base it on the past 7 or 30. I believe that is correct.
So we're the calculation is based on further back sales. I may have to just ask ask a little bit further details on that. So that might be a follow-up question,
Yes.
but as Matt's talking through this, I'll try to get more clarification on that so that I can give you a better answer, Michael.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, because I think that'd be useful. Because because this says 7 and 30. Yeah. Anyway, so we have this uplift
Mhm.
scale. So this is a really clever method of adjusting the numbers on the fly. So this is like, hey, you're coming up on holiday. Listener doesn't know it's Christmas, but you do. So you know that you're going to be, around November, you're going to be selling more than you usually do. And so you could just slide the scale. I'm like, I usually create about 50% or sell about 50% more than I usually do in the upcoming month or two. So you can just scale this up. And as you can see, the numbers adjust accordingly. And they can go backwards as well. So like if you're like, it's the summer, I'm not selling as much, just cut it back by 25%, that kind of thing. Super useful. And adjust the numbers on the fly. So it's very easy to follow along. And then on the left here, you can see the filter. So this is, you can filter which SKUs you're looking at for the forecast. You can filter by warehouse and you can filter by vendor. Since I just created that umbrella, oh my God, words, the umbrella company vendor, I'll use that one and focused on this. So you can see my green and my red umbrellas and then the numbers here. So these are adjustable fields that you can add or remove. So you got title, vendor lead. So this is, the 14 days. This is how long the vendor takes to ship the items towards you. Order quantity. This is how much you should be ordering based off the math. This is the units sold per day. And this right here, these are based on the calculations, and it's based on what you could be selling. So it's not just taking your, the 30 days divided by how much, or the amount of quantity you sold divided by the amount of days you sold. It's actually based a little more specific on if each day you had in stock, because there are some times where you run out of quantity, and Listimir will calculate if you had just kept quantity and kept selling, how much would you be at? Because we want you to be at the potential of what you could sell, not just what you sold, right? And then you got in stock. So this is currently how much I have in my MF inventory. So I got 21 for this green umbrella and then 15 for the red umbrella. Incoming stock. So if I had created previous purchase orders, then I have already sent them out to the vendor and the vendor's in the process of getting them to me, you'll see this number pop up here. This is just letting you know, hey, you got, 5, 10, 15 on the way. Take that into account. And then days until quantity is 0. So based on your units sold per day and your current quantity you have, how many days you have until you will run out of quantity. And then you see cost per item and the total cost. And you can customize these by clicking customize view at the very top. And you can just see, you can add and take away. Like, I don't want to see, I'll see SKU, but I don't need to see title. It doesn't really matter to me. That kind of deal. Boom, removes title, adds SKU. Super convenient. So I think from here, we will just create, so you could leave it as this. You could stop here. You could download and export. It'll download a CSV of all this information. All the columns will be labeled the same, of course, and you could just use that to base off. Like if you don't have a vendor that you send purchase orders to, you could just be like, okay, I need to order 44 more quantity of SKU 1 and 5 more quantity of the second SKU here, Umbra 2. Or you could take one for a step further, and if you have vendors and you want to create a purchase order, you would click this or check off these 2 boxes right here. And now you notice this option. 2 options really up here. You can have action on 2 items or purchase orders. So these actions here, you can adjust this quantity if you like. You're like, I don't really need 44. Let's just stick with an even 40. You can adjust that and then create a purchase order off that or download your CSV. If you make a bunch of adjustments and you're like, I just want to go back to what is recommended, you'd go reset quantity. Now reset it back to 44, and then set quantity.
And just to clarify, we can't see the drop down. So can you just read
Right.
the action items? It's reset quantity
So
and
there are three
what's the other
options:
one?
reset
Selectology?
recommended quantity,
Okay,
set quantity. So it's just if I want to, can you see that? Yes, yes, yeah.
got
So
it.
this is like I just want to
Yes,
set everything to 10 quantity. Easy peasy will allow you to do that. And then the third item is assigned to vendor. So if you had not assigned the SKUs to a vendor yet, and you're at this pace, you can just assign to vendor, and it will take the SKUs and just put them in that vendor catalog, like we did earlier. But just as from the
got it.
forecasting
Okay.
page instead of
Yep.
directly on there. So from these three, so I think we'll go to the purchase order next. I think that kind of, yeah, because you could just leave it like this and just have it like, just tell you like, I need 44 quantity. Cool, I'll order it. But if you have vendors and you create purchase orders, you can take the next step, select the SKUs you want to use, create purchase order. I'll click this here and take it to the purchase order page. You can see previously created purchase orders and your current ones as well, of course. So you got some just a basic info right here. And the current status is draft. So we'll click on the purchase order itself, or the number itself, and it takes you to this page. So I can see my SKUs here. I can see the like similar columns to we saw in forecasting. You got a waiting, available, total quantity. So I can see how I have much currently. This is how much it's recommending me to order. And this is the details of the vendor. You can also choose the shipping strategy. Of the speed, like standard, expedited, that kind of thing. And I believe, so if you were to just, make some adjustments, like, I don't want to do 44, I'll do 40. Save the purchase order. Saving the purchase order still keeps it internally, doesn't send anything externally. This is just purely for your own worth until you issue the purchase order. Issuing the purchase order, we'll send it off to your vendor, and it'll give them a nice little PDF, if I do recall, of the SKUs and the amount of quantity that you want to order at the shipping rate that you requested. I will do that in I will issue the purchase order. So now that I've issued it, the page is changed up, and you can see that. Now there's a new column called received, and it's adjustable. So now you've sent it off to your vendor. Let's say a couple weeks have passed at this point, and you have now received your items. You're going through the pallet that they sent you over, and you're counting quantities to make sure that you received your 40 and your 5. If you've received everything and you're like, all right, perfect, this looks great, you just click on what's in there.
It looks like, there was a button there earlier when we were going through this. So you must have to,
adjustable.
you must have to enter the received quantity.
I think we manually make you do that. So I received, so like say I received my 40 and I received my 5. All looks good. Save purchase order. Now that I have saved the purchase order, I've confirmed that I've received the quantity. So you're telling Listomere, as soon as you click this complete purchase order button, you were telling Listomere to add the 40 and the 5 to the SKUs inventory. So currently I have 21 and 15. I'll go over to a different inventory tab to confirm that. So I'm on the inventory tab in Listomere. Click inventory at the top, manage inventory, just to show how I got there. Don't want to make any assumptions. And I'm already searching my SKU. So I got my Umbra 1 and my Umbra 2, 61 and 20 quantity total. It already added it. Dang it. It did. So I had received it, so I told Listomere I had it, and then I completed just takes out the line. So like, hey, cool, it's done and over with. No more messing around. You can't make any further past adjustments, and those 40 and that 5 are added for 61 and 20, which going over here, 61 and 20. So you don't have to go into Listomere and then use an update quantity template and then make your adjustments. Listomere takes the purchase order, shows that you received each of X amount of each SKU, and then just adds that straight to your inventory under the designated inventory source of MF. And start to finish, that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, that looks great.
We try to make it as straightforward as possible.
And this is super exciting because it helps round out some of the the features that we've offered in the past, just in terms of being able to go all the way from deciding how much to order to actually ordering it to seeing it come into your warehouse and then going through the process of getting that into rotation with your existing inventory. And I talked a little bit earlier just about how this is really great to make sure that you always have product in stock, but the other consideration for this is you don't want to order so much that you're paying overages for storage fees and things like that, or if it's something that is at all perishable, anything like that, you obviously want to make sure that you're ordering the right amount. So this is really intended to make sure that that's happening. We're always looking to offer you tools that are most beneficial to your business. And so having feedback from you about how this is working for you is super valuable. So make sure that as you're using it, because we know that you will, especially after you saw Matt go through this whole demonstration and just really explained so clearly how to use it. We're hopeful that you will have feedback to offer on how it's working for you and what you're experiencing as a seller. So let's talk a little bit through how this works in terms of how you as a user can get access to this, because for some of you, when you click on that drop down where Matt clicked in the inventory drop down, that is going to show that you can't click on the forecasting link, or maybe that the forecasting page is grayed out, something to that effect. And so let me share my screen with you guys again. Okay, and so the plans that support the forecasting feature are all of our new plans. So this is our newest pricing. We changed a little while back from feature-based pricing to order-based pricing. And so what we are basing this on is the number of non-FBA orders. So this would not count orders that take place on Amazon where inventory is subtracted from your FBA quantity, but this would include any FBM or merchant fulfilled orders on Amazon and any non-Amazon channel for the length of your life with Listing Mirror. And so it's a little bit hard to see, but the plus plan includes 2,000 orders. It goes 2,000, 10,000, 20, 50, 100, and then of course, after that point, we're happy to talk with you if you want to talk just about custom pricing and all of that. So all of our new plans, I should say, include the forecasting feature. If you are on an older plan and you don't have access to this yet, what you would do is just submit an email to the staff just saying, hey, I'd like to upgrade to the new pricing plan. We can do a quick calculation to see which plan you would qualify for based on the last 30 days of sales, and then we would put you on that particular plan. So let's go into our questions that have come in different comments. So let's go first. Michael, you asked a question just about the 90 and 100 days sales history. And so I just wanted to clarify, because I did get some clarification from our team. So that is based solely on the sales data that you have inside of Listing Mirror. So as the age of your Listing Mirror account gets longer, that is how those numbers will be displayed. So if you have 90 or 180 days, now I think it just goes back 90 days. Let me double check on that. Actually,
I think it's 180.
Okay, yeah, it's currently capped. Yeah, it's currently capped at 180 days. So up to 180 days, that's how far back your sales data can go. So that's what you should see in your Listing Mirror account, assuming that you've been with Listing Mirror for that length of time. We had another question. I hope that answers your question, Michael. Another question was, you said that Listing Mirror doesn't know that it's a holiday, so we can't load known holidays into the system and rely on the system to plan around those. Not right now.
Good idea, though.
I like that idea for maybe like a round two of little tweaks that we make to the system. I'd be curious to see how we would implement something like that, because you probably would have to like select which holidays and like how much uplift you'd want to have around those holiday seasons, which maybe we would only know from more sales data. And so that's the thing, is that over time, you know, I can imagine that this is going to shift over time, because once we have, let's say, a whole holiday season through with the forecasting feature, that's probably going to change things too, because obviously the way that you forecast around holiday season, especially if you have something that's season sensitive or holiday sensitive, then that's going to, you know, greatly just inform how we continue building out these features. So I guess we'll see. That sounds like a really great idea.
I do like it.
Um, okay, Michael said he would like to be able to upload an Excel sheet when he receives his purchase order instead of doing it manually one by one. Do you know what functionality there is with that,
Yeah,
Matt?
he's talking about the received. So how I went down and like set 40 and then set 15, like manually.
Yeah.
He's asking for a bulk way to do that. I think that's a good idea. As far as I know, it's not possible. I thought it was, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I was thinking that it was too. I think that there is a way to mark a whole purchase order as received.
Rather than having to confirm each individual
So
SKU.
yeah, because that would make sense, because obviously, you know, if you have like 100 items
Right.
on a pallet or whatever, you'd want to receive more quickly. So maybe that's something that we'll just have to get back to you on, and just to you know, update you on how that works, because I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay, another comment from Michael. My SKUs that have zero quantity show that I shouldn't order anything. Is there a reason why it's not suggesting anything?
I mean,
Any insight?
if there's no sales for that SKU, that would make the most sense to me. Like if there's no,
Yeah, I
there's
would
no,
say if there's no sales
yeah.
data for us to be able to even make an inference in terms of how much you should order.
Yeah, like if it's zero sales for the past 30 days, 0 divided by 0 would be 0.
Yeah,
I'd have to look at it. I'd have to look
sure,
at the
sure.
individually. Michael, when you're logged into Listomere, there's a little quick help in the bottom right. Feel free to like open a ticket and just for asking for clarification on the numbers, because we'd be happy to clarify, because they should be correct, but you never know. But yeah, open one up and yeah, we'll take
Right,
care of you,
yeah.
man. No problem.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just a matter of like looking at the
Yeah.
individual SKU and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, there's a
So,
lot of play. Yeah, we'd have to
yeah.
see the exact example, but I'm sure we can figure it out. No problem.
Hmm. So, what other questions do we have from anyone in the audience, or Matt? Anything else that you thought, you know, might be valuable to mention in terms of forecasting?
Not too much besides what I had covered before.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, just set up your vendors ahead of time. Definitely going to save you some time in the long run if you just do it all up front, in my opinion. But yeah, I covered most of what I wanted to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
you
No
don't feel
worries.
pressure to like have to use vendor
So,
catalog and purchase orders. You could purely just use forecasting and just base your numbers off that, because not everyone has a vendor that they order stuff from, right? So some of that stuff's not useful to people. But the forecasting tool alone is just a nice tool to allow you to forecast and determine how much you need.
right, and like Matt said too, it also just, you can just export it to a CSV, so you have access to it regardless
Yeah.
of whether or not you're using the purchase order function. So yeah, if there are not any other questions, I think that we will just move forward. One thing to note is that we've changed the formatting of this webinar series. So we are going to be bringing you a webinar each month. So be looking out for this cadence. We're going to do webinars on Tuesdays, so always keep an eye on our newsletter to see what's coming up next. We've got lots of really great topics that we're going to cover. And of course, if you're not able to attend live, maybe you're here live or maybe you're watching the recording, still register, because then you'll get a link to the webinar afterwards, and you can watch it at your own convenience. So if you have specific things that you want to go over with your listing your account, maybe you just want to talk about strategizing, maybe you need specific troubleshooting that is going to affect, you know, the future of your business and things like that, I am I'm the best person for you to get in touch with about those things. Because that's kind of, you know, that's like in my day to day, that's what I do. A lot of it just working individually with clients and making sure that everyone is on the right path with their Listing Mirror account. So I can also offer like specific software training if there's a specific topic, if you bring on new staff, anything like that. That's what I'm here for. I want to help with that kind of thing. So please do get in touch. You can email me at erin@listingmirror.com at any time. If you just have a specific question about something that you're seeing in your account, so it's a very maybe a more micro issue that you're experiencing, maybe even something like what Michael mentioned with that SKU that's not showing up with any forecasted inventory. So in that case, the best thing that you can do is you can visit support.listingmirror.com, or you can also access us through the quick help button inside of your Listing Mirror account if you're already using Listing Mirror. There is where you will find both our knowledge base to be able to look up things like articles and things like that, but also be able to get in touch with the support team. So submitting a request there. Matt is, he answers tickets, and we have several other people on staff as well that answer tickets. And the thing that you can do for us is just be clear and be concise in your tickets so that we can help you as quickly as possible and make sure that we are getting you the answers that you need so that you can carry on with your day. Okay, so let's see, is there anything else? Oh, I just saw a message come in from Raven. So I didn't pre-read this, but if I get a brand new product that has no sales data in Listing Mirror, but has sales data on another platform, is there a way to import the sales data so that this feature can make an educated guess on how much I should order? So
we can bring in past order history, but for the previous 30 days. So like before we sign out, we could import, yes, for the previous 30 days, but I don't think we have an import that brings it in past that.
That's what I was going to say too, but with a caveat that if that is something that is really important to you as someone who's just coming to Listing Mirror, please get in touch with me directly and let me know some more specifics. So that could be like, the product that you're using right now, or even if you were to like send over the sales data that you have, because it is possible that is something that we can make a part of your implementation process of your onboarding, so that data is inside of Listing Mirror. It's just something that will have to be handled on a case-by-case basis. So
our dev team is flexible.
Yes. All right. Well, that's all that we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate the time and the effort that you have put forth to be here or just to watch after the fact. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.